The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live. Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm your host, Peter Pappas, in studio with Mrs. Laura Musler.
Hello, hello.
And Sheriff Jonathan Morgan. Welcome, Sheriff.
Appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Well, Sheriff, you've been sheriff for, about 6 months at this point?
About 6 months.
Time flies.
Yes, sir. I've been doing this for 29 years now.
Okay. So tell us about that. How 29 years in with Cumberland County?
Yes, sir. 29 years with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And I spent my whole career with the sheriff's office. I briefly worked with the Fayetteville Police Department, and then I moved over to the sheriff's office, and I've been here pretty much my entire career.
I'm sure there were reasons, but is there a big difference between the police and the sheriff's department?
There is, and at the time it was Fayetteville PD, and I just wanted something a little bit more, and so I went to the sheriff's office. And Fayetteville PD is a great organization. I'm not saying anything bad about it.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. But it's a different. To me, I've always looked at it as a different policing style.
Absolutely, and there's so much more that the sheriff's office does. A police officer, you're a police officer or you're a detective.
Okay.
With the sheriff's office, you have school resource, civil, courthouse, road patrol, jail. There's a lot more going on. With
and
sheriff's
also
office.
too, you're an elected position as sheriff, so there's constitutional requirements to your job as well.
Yes, sir.
You got to serve people when I want to evict them, and
Yes, sir.
Do you guys just take the $25 and send the letter, or do you actually go knock the door now?
We knock on the door.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. As a realtor, I'm just wondering, because I know we're shorthanded. I'm thinking, do they really have enough time to go do this?
They sent a postcard. He's telling a story because nobody knocked on our door. Somebody actually sent a postcard and said, "There's a paper here to be served."
Yeah. Oh, well, that's for your criminalness.
Well,
isn't it?
Whatever.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, I'm talking evictions, lady.
Oh, evictions.
Okay. Yeah, evictions. Okay. Yeah, it's only important because it's important to me. See,
okay.
It doesn't have to be important to you.
Well,
this
was
important. So, all right. So we still send people to knock those doors. I know we do the writs in person. I know.
Now let me ask a question, just because you mentioned it already. Mm-hmm. Can you join the sheriff's department and say, or like, I want to work in the courthouse and that's it, or do you just get assigned wherever?
So a lot of times we assign you where we need you, but we do try to assign you where you want to go. Unfortunately, there's sometimes that we have to say we need you here because
I quit.
The need might be more at the courthouse, and the need might be more on the road. But it is.
I don't want to be on the road. I want to be in the courthouse.
Yes, ma'am.
I've already quit. So if you're going to sign me somewhere else, I'm done.
Yes, ma'am. But and unfortunately, sometimes we do get that. But we do let folks know when they do apply with the sheriff's office that you work where we need you.
Okay.
And, it's like I was when I first started. I go where you send me. And
and it's a team effort. I mean, they all have a badge.
Yeah, I agree.
They're all sworn. Mm-hmm. So, you do have unsworn people working in the department too.
Yes, sir. We have a large amount of civilians, and also detention officers are non-sworn.
Okay.
Which is a tough job.
What percentage of your, what percentage of the sheriff's department staff is non-sworn?
I would say we're probably 60-40 probably.
Okay. So that's a big number. Okay.
Because when you take in the
administrative too.
Well, administrative, but also because you got to think all those civil papers that have to be processed by civilians, and then gun permits are civilians. Mm-hmm. But then also the DOs and the detention center.
Oh, hats off to the concealed carry ladies in there. They I just got my renewal a year or two ago. They were very friendly.
Well, hopefully you won't need that anymore. Constitutional carry.
It's look, give them their fee. It's fine every 5 years. I'm okay.
Nah. I want my constitutional rights.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Oh. Well, so you've been there a long time. What areas of the department did you work? Have you worked in pretty much all the places? Or
I started off in a road patrol. Okay. Then I went to the schools, but the benefit of working in the SROs is that you get an opportunity to work everywhere in the sheriff's office. So I was able to work in civil. I was able to work in detectives, and I've helped out with motors, and I've done a lot throughout my 29 years.
So you just mentioned SRO. Were you an SRO for majority of your career, or?
So I was an SRO for a large amount of my career,
Okay.
but then I was in charge of them. Then I become the assistant or the deputy patrol commander.
Okay.
And then I become the major of operations.
Okay.
Just in case if somebody doesn't know, SRO, school resource officer.
School
right?
resource officer,
Yeah.
yes.
But it's not your fault that they got pulled out of there last year before.
So the issue was it came down to manpower and, making a decision as to whether we're going to be able to cover schools or not. And because we knew we couldn't hire enough people in order to fulfill those positions.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like going to sign a contract. You're not going to sign a contract you can't fulfill.
Right. And that's, people don't understand that there was a contract between the sheriff's department and the schools.
But didn't he know before then?
Well, we were talking about previous sheriff. Right.
I know. Yeah. I'm not saying this.
I was facetiously blaming Sheriff Morgan because, that's what I do. But
no, it wasn't. It was Sheriff Ennis.
It was Sheriff Wright. But it was a personnel issue.
Yeah. And it comes down to just hiring folks and just the shortage of being able to get people to apply for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything that anybody done wrong. It's just nationwide we're having an issue with hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly, don't give us an exact number because we don't want the bad guys to know. Roughly, how many sheriff deputies are we short?
So I would say we're at 60% right now.
Holy smokeroni!
And so we have 40% of our agency is vacant.
Wow.
And it's just,
I was thinking about applying, but I don't want to have to work. So never mind.
Well,
not for you. Yeah, it's not for you.
I can tell you another thing too, and this is affecting people. I went to a conference back in the fall up in Cherokee with the other sheriffs, and back in 96, 97, 98, there was a huge hiring push for law enforcement. I mean, you had to wait. There was a waiting list to become a deputy sheriff.
Wow.
Now we're begging folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look, 96, 97, 98, what are we getting close to? 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of those folks that joined back then, they're at the end of their career.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing a lot more turnover going out.
Well, I think that's just natural attrition. They're retiring.
It is.
My God, how long you wanted to be policemen? But
yeah, nowadays, if the young people that do join, if they hit an obstacle, a lot of them don't know how to work through an obstacle. They just quit.
Yeah.
We have grown up a lot of quitters, in my personal humble opinion.
That is very true. And we got a great training staff at our sheriff's office, and we try to instill in our new folks. In fact, we just had our practice for our new classes coming out. This is the first class, or first class 7, 2026. So we're graduating 13 people. So with those 13, we're not even really scratching the surface of how many vacancies we have.
And that's going to take up maybe the people that are going to retire in the next 6 months.
Probably.
That's just keeping it even.
You're looking at retirements going from now for the next year and a half. And that's pretty much everywhere.
It's zeroed out.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, look, I think we're probably in the same age range. So we grew up on the music of F the Police and stuff like that. And we thought it was funny. And now we got people running up and interfering with law enforcement thinking they're allowed to do that. And FA and FO. And
there needs to be a lot more FOing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I always advocated, and this is completely a joke, but let y'all turn off your body cams for the first, after you've listened to it for 5 minutes, turn off the cam, and then 10 minutes later you turn it on when the ambulance is coming.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the body cams honestly have saved more careers than they've hurt.
That, yeah.
And because a lot of times we'll get complaints about what has happened out there on the street or in the school or wherever, and we went back and we played the video, and the deputy done exactly what they were supposed to do, and it was totally opposite of what was told.
Well, people, I think, lose perspective that you all are professionals. You have a profession that you're not only trained to, but you're continuously reminded. You go to seminars, you go to retrainings.
Yes, sir.
What annually, what does a deputy sheriff get as like continuing ed or something? Is there anything like that?
So we go to annual training every year. There are certain classes that we go to every year, which is firearms driving.
Days, hours, like what? How intense is this?
So I think we probably go to in-service training probably at least 8 to 12 hours every quarter, if not more.
Okay.
And so sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less.
Okay.
And we also offer, classes like Wake Tech might have a leadership class we send somebody to, or, radar school.
So you're trying to evolve your staff.
Very much so. And what my biggest push was when I first became sheriff, was to make sure that we offered as much leadership training as I could, because we are not going to be here forever. Mm-hmm. And so it's my job to make sure that this agency is prepared for the next generation coming in.
Succession.
And and so, I've got my 30 years in, and so I know sooner or later my time's going to come to an end. Mm-hmm. So it's my job to prepare for the next generation.
You're the actual sheriff. You can just sit behind a desk till you're 90. I mean, come on. Let's be honest, Jonathan. Come on. No, that's probably not what you want to do, though.
He is saying exactly what I try to do. Is so many leaders get in their position and they're not preparing.
They're not feeding the next generation.
Yes, that's why I say you have to have your next person that you want to be right by your side, so that they can know everything. So knock on wood, if anything happens to you, somebody is there and ready to step up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And another thing that
he just made me feel old. I'm just joking.
Well, another thing we're working on too is that, trying to work on retention within the sheriff's office. We have so many agencies now that are topping out in pay in 10 and 12 years, where, our pay is topping out at 23 years. Well, it's taking forever to get that top pay.
Yeah, nobody's patient for that anymore. And you know what? Why should they? When there's agencies that are topping out as quickly as 12 in half the time, why should they bother?
And these people are putting their lives on the risk. Yeah. I think that teachers, police department, fire department, they should be some of the highest paid people in our country.
They're not the highest paid, but they're the highest used for political gain by either party, and whatever. They get tossed around like a damn football, and then they get stuck in the middle like the redheaded stepchild. Well, everybody loves y'all until it comes time to write the check.
Yeah. And it was like your previous guest, where she was talking about teachers. Well, my wife, she's in education.
Okay.
And so we see that firsthand. She's got a master's degree, and she don't get, it's hard for educators.
Barely gets credit for it, basically.
It's hard for educators to make it.
And is she in the classroom, or is she administrator?
She was in the classroom, but now she works in testing. So
okay, all right. I won't beat that up too bad. So my thinking with a lot of school systems is sometimes I think we are a little top heavy with the administration, and I would like to see some of that effort put back in the classroom.
Didn't we just get an audit and find out that is exactly what's going on, that we are way
Which audit?
Didn't Dave Bullock do an audit on education?
He did the lottery.
That too.
Yeah.
The lottery's making more money and they're giving less than they should. But at any rate, I don't think there's a way to properly compensate teachers for what they do. No. There just isn't.
First responders and anybody in the public realm does not get what they deserve. Mm-hmm. And, I can say the county commissioners that we're working with now, they're doing a great job as to, being a sounding board for us, and they're easy to go talk to and interact with.
Let's go back to the 23 years to top out at Cumberland County Sheriff's Office versus, you said, about 12 for some surrounding agencies. Are y'all because the city of Fayetteville just went through a cycle of looking at the compression of those pays. Are you looking at compression as well in your department?
We are looking across the board and trying to make sure everything gets regulated. Because like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be here forever. So I want to make sure that when I walk out the door, I can hold my head up and say I did everything I could to make sure that people there want to come there and want to work, enjoy what they're doing, because that job's hard. I mean, you can't just expect somebody off the street that's come in and do this job. You got to want to do it. It's like I spoke to the class this morning. I said, you won't go to calls where people curse you and spit at you. And in 2 weeks from now, you're going to be, helping them. I remember I had a call I worked the northern side of the county when I was on the road patrol. I got in a fight with a guy, had some drugs on him, ended up fighting. 2 weeks later, I was putting compression on his leg where he got shot. And so the same guy, you had a struggle with, now you're saving his life. And that's what I told him. I said, you got to put your personal feelings behind you and do your job. And it does get, you got to let them know,
Yeah.
You're here as a first responder first, and then
See the spitting on you, man.
Yeah,
that's
I draw
an
the line
FO.
at that.
That's an FO.
That's a
move.
camera off moment for me.
It's tough to deal with. I've had it happen to me before. So
you didn't arrest him first.
no, he went to jail.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Yeah,
okay.
we went
I'm
to
just
jail.
wondering, Sheriff, were you always that tall? Because I'd like to see the other guy who wanted to fight with you.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know.
It's adrenaline. They don't even realize what they're doing.
I've been in some tussles
man.
with some folks before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's part of the job.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about body cameras. Last election cycle, City Council of Fayetteville, there was a young man running for, I believe, it's District 1, and he was part of Fayetteville Pact, and they were claiming that they helped get the sheriff's department cameras or something. How long has the sheriff's department had body cameras?
We've had them for several years now. I don't know the exact date, but we had in-car cameras at first, and then we moved to body cameras.
I mean, 2 years, 5 years. What are you?
I would say at least 4 years,
okay,
if not more.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think in my mind of dates. I'm sorry,
yeah.
But we've had them for quite a while, and the times we've had them, they've been used to clear deputies more than they've been to hurt. Now, I ain't gonna lie, there's been times where deputies have messed up and we've had to correct them on it. But the majority of the time, those cameras have cleared the deputies because we have somebody call up and say, well, they were rude to me, or they cussed me out, or they did this, and we go back and we hit play, and none of that ever happened. And so it's a very beneficial tool for us, but it's also beneficial for us when we're doing an investigation, because you have people say things that they shouldn't say,
right.
And it catches on the camera, and then
I bought body cameras. I actually have the law enforcement body cam. Well, I'm sure they're not the real ones, but I bought body. So whenever I'm carrying and I'm out in public, I have it on my purse usually.
You want evidence? I don't want evidence.
Yeah, because if I'm shooting you, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I don't want more cameras on me. I'm good. Okay, so we talked body cameras. We talked SRO. Not your
Let's
fault.
talk about crime rates.
Okay, let's talk about some crime rates.
Yep, Cumberland County's violent crime rate is 6.1%.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Per 10,000. I mean, per 1,000 residents, and which is higher than a lot of state and national averages. What are we doing about that? How do I know that they only come out like a year, and you've only been in there since August, so these are not necessarily your crime rates, but
they are my crime rates because
you worked there.
I've been here. At the end of the day,
we tried to absolve you of the blame, but okay. You don't take it.
Well,
okay.
My thing is that at the end of the day, I'm the sheriff. What happens at the sheriff's office is my responsibility, and so
good man. Okay.
And so, but I can say right now, we are taking a very proactive approach towards narcotics and working towards those, because a lot of times you'll see that narcotics has a big play in crimes in general and in your community. And so, and just being visible, but to say you can,
well, how visible can you be when you're running with 60% staff?
Well, I mean, you do what you can with what you got. And, we try to make sure those guys stay as visible as possible out in the neighborhoods. When it comes to homicides, I've heard people make the comment, "Oh, we're going to lower the homicide rate," and I'm like, "That's a very bold statement you're making."
I was going to say ours are actually up.
And so, when you make that statement, unless you got a deputy that's going to stand beside every citizen in Cumberland County, you can't guarantee anything.
Well, I always say that's a matter of the heart. You can't get in the middle if somebody wants to murder somebody. It's a hateful thing. And
if you're there just at the right time at the right place, it's great that you can do something like that, and you can stop that. But my time, working out on the street and everything else is that, anytime that you can, stop a crime from occurring, that's great. But it's just kind of like anything else.
You guys are reactive, not necessarily being.
Well, when you're answering calls just back to back, it's hard to be proactive. Do
you have any ideas for being proactive if you get staffed up? What are some programs you would like to see happen?
Some things that I plan on doing once we get staffed up was, it's kind of like if you're riding through a neighborhood and you see somebody that left property laying out, we go up and we leave something on our door that says, hey, look, you might want to secure your property. Just give them points and tips to make sure they don't make themselves a victim, especially in property crimes. So there's some things that I'm looking forward to moving forward. Wanting to work on some of our recidivism rates we have here in Cumberland County. Most of the people in the detention center, they've been there over and over and over and over. And so working on, getting the GED program back into the detention center and getting things like that. So that way maybe we can get people out of the detention center to get into the workforce, and maybe they, maybe turn their life around, get them a job.
I like that. If you can give them like some kind of mechanical or automotive or roofing or some kind of tangible skill, so that here, let me give you another option.
Well, yeah, no pun intended. They are a captive audience. So, I mean, you have a chance to sit them down and learn them something. But let me ask you this. Last year, the legislature passed Irina's Law regarding the young lady murdered in Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows that. We've seen the video and made our own comments. How has that actually, have you seen an actual change in how you've had to operate the sheriff's department because of that?
Yes, sir.
What's a couple of things?
One thing that does is that we have to share criminal records with the magistrate's office, make sure that they know what this person's previous criminal record was.
Were we not doing that before?
Well, you could do that, but now it's like,
now it's automatic. It used to be case by case, maybe.
Yeah, that has to happen. And so that helps out too. It makes the magistrates, responsible for whether he gives somebody a secured, unsecured bond. It does kind of stalemate the system a little bit. And what it does is it holds people in jail where used to they could probably, sign out. But our jail population hovers around 700 at all times. Wow. And so 884, I think, is our max number.
Okay.
And so, we're close to that.
Yeah.
And, but I can say, the court systems and district attorney are working very hard to, try to get those things resolved. But we've been working with them, and I've been working with some folks out in the community to try to give those avenues for folks when they do get out of jail, they can, get into something so that way they're not returning back.
See, look, I like it when the cop knows my name, but not if I'm in jail. That's not a good, I like it when the guy's patrolling and knows me, but, and unfortunately, you have your regulars down there.
And unfortunately, most of the people that's in the detention center are people we've dealt with over and over and over. I remember, excuse me, I remember when I worked the north side of town, there was folks I dealt with that were, I knew them. I knew their name. I knew their mom. I knew their dad. I knew everybody, but it's because I was always dealing with them.
Yeah.
And so,
don't you find that's true though? If you're dealing with the mom and dad, you end up dealing with the kids too.
Not. I'm not going to say every time, but there is times where you deal with one family member. It's the, unfortunately it does bleed over into
the fruit of the poison tree. I think.
Well, that's what the Bible says. You just pay for the sins of your parents. Yeah. But
and we do have, there's been times that, we see a last name and I'm like, I've dealt with that family before.
See, to me, if I were dealing with parents and they had smaller kids, I would go out of my way to include those kids in activities with the sheriff's office to give them the role model, because I think that the biggest problem that we're having is the fathers are not in the house anymore. So to give them a sheriff or somebody that they can look up to and respect. So if I'm at your house because you guys are having domestic, even if it's not the dad, and there's kids there, then I'm going to be like, hey, we're having basketball day. Can I come pick up your son and take him to basketball day, so that they start having a positive? Maybe that could be something that the community outreach
Office of Community Safety
can make some.
Well, that's a city thing. I don't know. Does the OCS, are they interfacing with you guys at all?
So me and John Jones have been talking about some things and trying to, gap the bridge between us and them, and and also with Chief Bryan and Chief Dollinger and Chief Spring Lake Chief. I can't think of some.
I knew where you were going. I'm like, I can't think of it either right now.
Jarman, and I'm sorry, Chief, if you're listening to this, but no, we are working on a very strategic plan of working with each other.
I mean, they planted their flag in the city of Fayetteville, but we are part of Cumberland County, and you guys are collaborating. You're at least speaking to each other too. And that,
yes.
You mentioned earlier about the commissioners, kind of being a good sounding board for you. And I think that inclusion is a big theme of what they've been doing. They've been going to Godwin Falcon, all these little areas.
Yes.
So I just want to see that. I just want to know that you guys are communicating.
Well, I went to every, except for one, I didn't make one. I went to every mayor swearing in Cumberland County to let them know that, hey, I'm the new sheriff. I'm here to support you. Whatever you need from us, you let us know. And same thing with all the chiefs of police. Within the first, I think, 3 weeks I was in, I had everybody come to the sheriff's office and said, okay, I'm the new sheriff. What can we do for y'all? The last snowstorm that come in, I called each police chief and I said, hey, what can the sheriff's office do to help you, do whatever, we're here for you.
Okay.
And so that's the kind of relationship I want to continue to build, because at the end of the day, we can't do it alone. And we want to make sure that we're, working hand in hand with each other, because at the end of the day, the goal is the same thing, is to protect the citizens. And, we do fight back and forth for personnel, but at the end of the day,
are y'all stealing each other's people? That was happening. It's happened one.
It's back and forth. They'll take somebody, we'll get them back, so it's kind of comical sometimes. I get joking with them, and
I'm laughing because Greek restaurants, we'd poach somebody else's manager. We would catch hell over that. But well, you mentioned protect the citizens. So how am I being protected if I have a bunch of illegal people here that are creating havoc? Are you going to work with ICE, or do we work with ICE in the county?
We do work with ICE if there's detainer orders, and if we're lawfully, what we have to do by law is what we do. And so we've had detainers that we've had to deal with.
So walk me through this. I'm illegal, and I just decided to get a DUI and run through a playground or whatever. Now I'm arrested. I'm in jail. How do you know that I'm illegal? Number one, and number two, I have a detainer. How does that trigger?
Well, the detainer, it'll be something that we get. It's a flag, and it'll let us know that there's a detainer on this person.
Okay.
And so then we'll react on that. We'll let them know that, hey, we have a detainer, and they have so many hours to come pick that person up.
And I'm not trying to be funny here, but is like the detainer like a list on the wall, or is it automated in our system?
It's automated in our system. It'll flag us and tell us, hey, this person has a 48.
So there's no question that if there's a detainer, there's a detainer. Because when you put them in,
we will know.
And the worst thing that can happen to me for ICE at that point is you got to hold me for
every many hours, what the detainer says. Okay. And once that detainer's up, we have to release you, because there's no authority for us to hold you.
Release me or put me through the bond system.
You would have your
on the charge.
Well, you'd have what you'd have to deal with the court system. But if that's been cleared up, when the time stops on that, we have no reason to hold you.
The time that you're holding, is that to give the other agency the ability to just come and take custody of that person?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if they don't, then
we have to release them, because lawfully we can't hold them anymore.
So is there anybody calling ICE like, hey, you got like an hour left, you coming?
When there's a retainer, we let the point of contact know that, hey, look, we have somebody we're holding.
I think what I'm trying to figure out, just to talk about, is there an active, you guys are not, I wouldn't even say you're asleep at the wheel, but like, you're not just saying, oh, yeah, he's got a detainer, cool, and just leave. I mean, you have people that are following.
They're being notified. Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're being notified, but it's on them to come and get them.
Well, I'm good with that.
I mean, I can't make you love me. I mean, if you don't want to come get this guy, I mean, that's up to them. But
it's the counties and the cities and the communities that do that don't have ICE roaming the streets. It's the communities that have detainers, and they're like, I'm gonna let you out anyway. Those are the ones that they have ICE roaming the streets.
I don't even think it's not only that. It's the ones that blatantly, like there was a clip from the Philadelphia sheriff who was accusing ICE of being like, they're not law enforcement. They're not like, it's like, oh my God, do they not? Anyway, so when you have the people that like want to thumb their nose that hard, it's like, all right, you're going to find out. All right, well, that's good. I feel better now that we're not, bucking the whole system. Because again, last year, the legislature passed all county sheriffs are supposed to comply with ICE.
Yes, sir.
And we have there's other sheriffs in the state that are very blatantly, and I think it goes more to their political party affiliate. They're playing politics more than they're playing law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to know what my sheriff's political party is. I don't want to know I don't want to know what any of my law
I wish it
enforcement
wasn't
is.
partisan, because I need a sheriff to sheriff.
That's exactly right. I don't care who
Yes,
you vote
sir.
for or whatever, because it's about my local
I care a little
community.
bit. I wanted to vote for smart guys.
Well, yeah.
Well, my biggest thing is, as the sheriff, is that, at the end of the day, I'm here to enforce the laws. And, I'm not a politician. Anybody that.
But you are kind of.
Oh, you are now.
Well,
welcome.
You are, because you get elected.
I am, but it's hard.
That's always a trap on here, John. That
I don't play. Yeah. I have a hard time playing a political game. It's just hard for me to be a politician, because I've been a law enforcement officer for so long that I'm more focused on enforcing the law than I am being a politician. And I have to have people around me saying, hey, you got to make sure you do this. You got to make sure you do that. And so
that's the best part of being a leader, is having people around you that know more than you do and telling you what to do and you listening.
Well, the biggest thing is, I can tell you, I have a great team around me. I don't know everything. I promise you, I do not know everything. But my people around me are great resources that I pull from all the time. Got one sitting here beside me right now, but you got to have that to be an effective leader, is people around you that are supporting you and believe in your vision and your mission and your goal.
Absolutely.
And I can say that I feel good about our staff there. They do a great job. And I'm proud of all of them. So proud of all of my deputies. They do a great job.
Well, and I mean, I've lived here my whole life. I don't think I've never had a lack of respect for the sheriff's office. My grandfather was an auxiliary officer back in the 80s, 90s. I think he would help funerals and stuff. But, so.
Let's pretend I want to donate to his campaign. How do I do that?
So my website is keepsheriffmorgan.com.
Okay.
And so you can go in there and donate. And,
I even put it on screen for you. So.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate anybody's support. And
what if I don't have any money? What do you need me to do?
You can go out and work a poll for me. You can, and the biggest thing is word of mouth. If people believe in what I'm doing and what I'm doing for them in the community, I hope they feel comfortable with me being their sheriff and knowing that I'm doing this to protect the community. I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for the community. I'm doing it for my people at the sheriff's office. I try to keep a kind of family atmosphere there at the sheriff's office. And that way, I feel like you get a long ways when everybody cares about each other.
Well, then again, I mean, you're part of a family that you guys have your own shared experience that a lot of other people cannot relate to. Fortunately, we can't, because you've seen the worst of the worst and the best of the best.
Well, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So we were talking, there was a podcast, I can't remember who was talking about it. And, most civilian people that's not in law enforcement probably go through maybe 4 to 5 traumatic events their entire life. Law enforcement have 300 to 500 traumatic events during their career. And so they're averaging 1 to 2, maybe 3 traumatic events every shift.
Okay, so I do want to share that with the police chief, the old one, Ken Braden, whom I love, actually did a thing with the city where that you were like pretend to be an officer and you had the fake gun or whatever. That was so exciting. I did good, but I got my gun out. My friend that went with me couldn't even draw her gun. I said, "Pow!" But it was very. I mean, like I was shaking afterwards. It was a fake gun. It was a fake everything. But to have somebody actually draw a weapon on me and like, I don't think that your mind actually comprehends this is fake. To have to do that in real life, my hat is off to any officers that ever do that. That has got to be the most traumatic thing. And to have that happen like hundreds of times in your life, my hat is off. I mean,
that would be, having to, anytime you have to unholster your weapon, that's a bad day. And, cause there's a possibility you might have to take somebody's life. And so, nobody that gets into this line of work plans for that. Nobody, I mean, we train for the worst of the worst case scenario, but nobody comes to work saying,
I hope today's the day.
I hope today's the day, and it's like I tell our new deputies, you're going to go home and your family's going to want to talk to you about things. And at that time, all you want to do is go home and just kind of decompress. Mm-hmm. I remember my wife, school teacher, she had the summers off. She would meet me at the door. It was 1,000 questions during summer. It was like, and I'm like, can you just give me 10 minutes to decompress from the day to kind of get my mind out of the law enforcement mode into the husband mode? Mm-hmm. Because, when you get out of the patrol car, you're still on, at code orange. Mm-hmm. And so, you need to kind of bring yourself down so that way you're not in that mentality. And so we as seasoned law enforcement officers have to be able to see these new guys and saying, hey, do you need to talk to somebody? You need to come talk to me, or, is everything okay? Is everything all right? Because we got to look out for each other. And like I said, doing this job, I was a volunteer firefighter for 20 years, and now I've been deputy sheriff for 29. And so I've been exposed to a lot. So,
okay. Well,
can I make one comment though? Because we always say donate to campaigns, and then I always say, oh, you can work at the polls. Working at the polls is not a bad thing. You can do as short as a 2-hour stint. Mm-hmm. Any little teeny tiny bit that you can do to help. All of our candidates appreciate it. So please, when you hear working at the polls, 2 hours. Can you take 2 hours out of your week to help some of these
say
candidates?
Hello to people and hand stuff out. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty fun if you let it be.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all giving me time here.
Well, Sheriff, thank you so much for being here. And with that,
we are the Carolina Cabinet. Are we doing that?
We'll do it next week.
Okay, yeah.
I guess we'll see everybody on
Monday.
All right. Well, have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.